Hi guys, Dinner Lady here. Right, so it's Boxing Day. This is mine and Ian's day of rest, so I thought what I would do is do a pork pie that's going to last us up until New Year. So before I start, I just want to wish to everybody, I hope they had a brilliant Christmas day yesterday. We did. Chaos from start to finish, but it was absolutely amazing. So, I hope you all had the same as well. So we'll get on with the pork pie and I'll bring you down and show you the ingredients. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is make the jelly that goes on the outside. I know this looks a little bit gruesome, but I've got 2 pig's trotters here. Now on Christmas Eve, Ian did his baked ham. Now this was the stock that was left over from it. Don't waste that, that's got a load of flavour in there. So instead of putting water and everything in with this, I'm going to use that. So that's going to make up my jelly. I do have, and I've had this in the freezer for ages. I've got it at 50% off at Aldi, and it's a pork leg joint. And I'm just going to take the crackling off that and chunk that into pieces. I have some belly pork as well. And the seasonings we've got here is I've got a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of ground black pepper and white pepper, so half a teaspoon of each. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of mace, half a teaspoon of sage and half a teaspoon of thyme. And for the pastry, we're going to have 500 grams of plain flour. We need 110 grams of butter, 130 grams of lard, and a nice big pinch of salt. So the first thing I'm going to get on is the jelly, because that's going to need pressure cooked for a little while and then it needs reduced. So I'm not going to show you cutting these up because I think a lot of people find that a little bit gruesome. So I'm just going to get on with that and then I'll take you over to the pressure cooker when we start it. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put that stock that I have there into here. And I'm going to put that on the saute mode, just to keep it, just to get it warmed up. It'll just take less time to come up to pressure. Now where's the saute button? There we go. I'm on it on high. And I'll just press start. So while I'm doing the rest of it, that's just going to be heating up nicely. Right, so that's come to the boil. And a massive thank you to Ian, who's just came and getting this for us, because I just could not get them chopped up. So basically, I'm just going to put these in. Now, you don't have to do this step. A good pork stock cube or chicken stock cube with some gelatin in works just fine. It's just I've never done it, from scratch like this for years. And I really, really just wanted to try that again. Right, so I'll just quickly wash my hands. Get this on. Cancel off the saute. I want pressure cook and I want it for 1 hour. As you can see, the stock was up to the boil, so it'll not take much to come up. The temperature will go down once I've put them the trotters in, but it shouldn't take that long to come back up to temperature now. So that'll be 1 hour, and the next thing I want to get on with is the pastry. Right, so now I need 110 grams of butter, and I'm just going to put it straight into the pan. I'm going to chop it up just a little bit so it melts quicker. Oh, it doesn't want to move. There we go, come on. I think it was just stuck on the knife. 8. Let's take off bits until I've got, 1 little gram over. And 130 grams of lard. Do the same with that. Just going to tear these. That's it. Right, just keep going with that. Should have had it all measured out really, but 18, so I want 130. Seems like a lot, but I'm quite a bit of pastry here. I am doing quite a big pork pie. There we go. Alright, I'm just going to get cleaned up here and we'll get this over on the stove. Right, I'll just turn it again. I want 200 grams of water. I did do 200 mils, but obviously it's not the same. Let's go a bit slowly now because that's 185. 97, there we go. Right, so I'm going to bring it over to the stove and we'll get this nicely melted down. Right, so as you can see, that's nearly all melted. I've weighed out the 500 grams of flour, and we'll come over. By the time I get you over there, then this should be up to a simmer. Right, so that's just come up to a simmer, so I'm going to turn that off now. First thing I'm going to do is put about a teaspoon of salt in there. Just mix this in first, get out some of the big lumps. Nice well in the middle. And then get rid of that spoon. And just pour this all in. Rid of that. And we'll just mix this up nicely. Get it into a dough. It's a very easy pastry, this. So you don't have to use a food processor, or you don't have to rub it in with your fingers. Just get it so it's nearly all incorporated. Don't forget it's still hot. That fat in the water was simmering. And once you get most of it incorporated in like this, then you can get it out onto your bench. Give it a little slight knead, not too much. Right, so get that straight onto there. Move that out of the way. Move that out of the way. It's still warm, but this will need to go into the fridge for at least 2 hours. And that flour has cooled it down quite a bit. I'm just going to get it into a shape. Right, quickly. My hands. We'll wrap it in some cling film and get a hold of it. There we go. Just put that there like that. Pick it up. Back together. It's still very pliable at this stage. Easy to work with. I'll just wrap that up there. Wrap that up. Now, that'll go straight into the fridge, like I say, for at least 2 hours. If you want to do it the day before, then that's great, but it's got to be really cold. And about half an hour before we're about to use it, we'll bring it back out the fridge and let it come back up to room temperature. So we've got the jelly on, we've got the pastry made. Now it's to get on with doing the pork. Right, so I've taken it out the packet and I've taken the strings off and the rind off. So the first thing I want to do is get about 300 grams, which I'm going to chunk up a little bit. do. And the rest of this I'm going to cut up. Now you don't need to do this method either. Same with the gelatine. If you want to get some pork mince and maybe just a pork chop or a pork shoulder steak for this bit, then happy days, you're going to get just as good an outcome. However, I've had this joint of pork in the freezer for quite a long time now, and I've been thinking about what to do with it. To be honest, you know, had a lot of rich food, but didn't want to make another roast, so I thought, right, it's time to make me pork pie. And as I got it for 50% off, I'm more than happy with that. Now once I've chunked this up, I'm going to pop this into the freezer just for half an hour, just to get it, just it makes it easier to go through the grinder. Grinder has less work to do, but with it being really cold, it won't be frozen, not in half an hour. And I know you people will say, oh, it's already been frozen, but I'm not freezing it, I'm just cooling it right down. There we go. In fact, it probably won't even be full half an hour, because all I'm going to do is I'm going to chunk this up into smaller chunks, and I'm going to get my processor out and put the grinder attachment on. Oops. Now I am using this tea towel. It's a clean one, but it's an old tea towel, so don't mind if it gets blood or anything on it, because I only use it for stuff like this anyway. Just cut this up. And I'll put the belly pork on this plate as well, and put that in the freezer for, like I say, however long it takes us to set up for the rest of it. So we'll see you in a couple of seconds. Right, so that's in the freezer. So all I'm going to do is chop this down into small chunks, but when you have a pork pie, it's nice to have, you know, a bit of actual meat in there, not all just ground down. I have 40 minutes left on the trotters, so that's not bad. We've done sorted out the meat this far, and done the pastry in that small amount of time. So I'm just going to crack on doing these, and then I'll come back to you when it's, I think it's probably when the trotters are going to be done. Right, so I have my grinder all set up. I've got my meat here. I'm just going to put a few up here first. Now this is going to go through the grinder twice, so I'm going to do half of this now, and then I'll go back and do the other half. Now this is going to be a little bit noisy. I'll just feed that through a little bit. Better. As you can see, start to come through. Like I say, you don't have to do this. This is just because I have the facility to do it. Mince would work just as well. Come on, turn it up a bit. Needs to get its rhythm. So I'm just going to continue with this, guys, and I'll come back. Right, with the help of Ian again, it's gone through its first one. I'm just going to put it through a second one again here now. Second one should be easier. You've already broken the mince down to a certain point.
Quite therapeutic though, isn't it?
It is,
Some putting your own ones, you and you're slapping it down the hole.
Right, so we're just going to put it through a second time and then I'll come back to you. Right, so that's had its hour now, so I'm just going to cancel that. I'm going to move it a little bit further away from, oh, it comes out of there. Move it a little bit further away from the cupboard and just let it steam off. Right, so that's the lid off. That's them in there. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it on saute and put it on low and start it probably for about 15 minutes just to reduce that liquid down a little bit because I want it jellied, I don't want it just liquid. Right, we'll see you shortly. Right, so the first thing I've done is took some of the jelly out and I've been reducing it down. Now I took a little bit out, put it on a plate and put it in the fridge and it's set up lovely. So now I know that that's going to set up around the pork pie. So I'm just going to leave that there for now and we'll get on with seasoning the pork. Right, so that's the pork mince all done. I'm going to put in this bit of pork here. And the first thing I'm going to do is just mix it all through. And then get my bowl of seasonings. And again, the best thing to do with this is to use your hands. Just to get it all incorporated. You want the seasoning all throughout. And then this will go back in the fridge because I think it's about an hour left for the pastry. So this will go back into the fridge. So it's nice and cool. And then it's just a matter of building the pie. Takes a little bit of this to get it seasoned all the way through it. But you do want it like that. The best thing to do is use your hands. You've got a big bit of seasoning there, so we'll just put that through. You can smell the thyme, the sage, the pepper. Right, so I'm just going to put that in the fridge covered and then we'll come back to you as soon as it's time to make up the pie. Right, so I'm getting this out the fridge. It's been out about 15 minutes. I'm just going to take a bit off for the lid and we'll just quickly wrap that up. We'll put that over there. Add some flour down and also a bit on here. Now I've already done my tin. This is the tin I'm going to use. It's a loose bottom tin. There's a lot of butter and fat in this pastry. However, I do just like to line it just for my own peace of mind. So I'm just going to try and get this into a rough round. Make sure you've got some on there. Move that out of the way. There we go. A bit cracky. I might just need a few more minutes just to warm it back up slightly, but we'll make it work. I've got the oven set at 200 degrees and that'll go in for about 20 minutes at that. Then I'm going to turn it down to 170 and let it go for about another hour to cook it. I'm going to make sure that that filling is nicely cooked. Keep putting a bit of flour on. It's getting softer. It will crack, but don't worry about it. That will nicely come back together. Make sure that you've got flour underneath as well. Right, I'm going to continue to roll this out until it fits me tin. Right, so I've rolled it out. It has got a bit of cracks in, but don't worry, like ordinary pastry, any pastry, you can patch that up, that's not a problem. and just get it in. I'm just going to get this in there nicely. Get it all patched up lovely. Bit there. Get it nicely all patched up, so I'm just going to finish this off, patch it all up, and then we'll come back. Right, so I've just rolled out the lid. I should have waited, that was too cold still, but it's in there and won't make any difference to the final product. So I'm just going to pop that to one side there and bring this over. I'm just going to make sure that it's all touching. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get handfuls. If there's too much here, then that's fine. We'll just have some burgers with this tonight. Let's try and get as much in as you can, more air out. Will shrink during cooking. Actually, I might even get it all in. Up to the edges. Here we go. Quick wash of the hands. And get a little bit of egg wash on the outside here. Could just use water, you don't have to use egg, but I've done the egg for the lid anyway, so might as well use it as I've got it. Right, out of the way. I'm just going to move that over a second. I'm going to bring this back. You do need some ventilation holes in here, and as it's a round one, I'm going to do 3. I'm just going to use my sausage thing here. It's easier to do it now. She sees. There we go. Then it is once it's on top of your pie. Right. Just roll that up, bring that over. On the top. There we go. All I'm going to do now is just press them together all the way around. It's pressed together well. First thing I want to do is I want to get a knife, just go around the edges with the excess. There we go. Now I'm just going to off a little bit, pinch it together. Now you will get some of the liquid coming out when you cook it. That's just the nature of the beast, can't help that. Now I'm just going to I've got a baking tray in the oven which I'm going to put it onto. Like I say, 200 for 20 minutes and then turn it down to 170 for probably between another 50 minutes to an hour. But another good thing about having those holes in there is the fact that you can put your probe in to make sure that it's all nice. Oops. Now some egg wash on the top, make your pie look absolutely beautiful. The edges as well. Right, so I'll get this into the oven and I'll come back to you when it's cooked. Right, so that's had an hour and 10 minutes in the oven, so I'm just going to test it just to make sure that it's cooked. I've left the oven on in case it needs to go back in. As long as you've got over 70, try and get right in the middle. No, still not ready. So I'm going to give it another 15 minutes and then we'll have another look at it. Right, so that actually took another half an hour. So I'm just going to double check. Yeah, to 77, I don't know if you can see that. Do this side. There. Well and truly done. So I'm just going to leave that to cool slightly for about half an hour before I think about putting the jelly on. Right, actually it's been probably about an hour. I've had a shower, settled down a little bit, and now I'm coming back. So I've warmed up the jelly again because it's starting to go like jelly, and I do have this funnel, and I'm just going to pour slowly though. Don't go too mad. Share it between it. It will work itself through. You don't have to use a funnel. You could just do it. Oh. And this one seems a bit more packed at this side, so I might not get a lot in here, but it will work its way through. Does take more than you would actually think. Back to this one again. Now this will stay in the tin overnight. We're not going to eat this today. Want it until it comes up to the top. That's what it looks like it has. Might settle. And that one, if you look, that was probably about 250 mils, and you can see it up to the top. It's even leaked out a little bit there, but that's not a problem. Like I say, once that's fully cold, it'll go in the fridge and stay overnight. And we can have a look at this tomorrow. So it'll be about half a day for you, half a day for me, but about 10-15 seconds for yourselves. Right, so we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Right, well, it's there and it's stuck, even though I did grease the tin, but I think it was because when some of the liquid came out here, it went down the sides and it's stuck. So as you can see, it's not quite on there, but I'm just going to do a slice out of it and we'll have a taste. Right, so there's with a slice out. As you can see all of the jelly in there, and even some of it's got into the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a bit of a taste testing time now.
How are you doing? Right. Okay, this is my bit. That's man's.
Desperate Dan, aye.
Desperate Dan cow pie. Yeah, we had a bit of a problem, shall we say, getting it out of the tin.
Can't believe it's
You wouldn't believe it. But hey, I'm gonna have a go. Here we go. Oh my days, that is good. That's a proper pork pie, that. Absolutely delicious. That with some chutney, Parmesan's pickle, pickle. I think we've got some chutney. I'm going to have some of that with the chutney.
Yeah.
That is absolutely banging. It's a big pie, and yeah, we did have a bit of an issue, but it tastes absolutely fantastic. So there you go. I mean, look at that jelly there. Look at that. Lush. Fabulous. So we're going to settle down and have a finish that off, aren't we? Sit down and watch some telly.
Yeah.
Because it's the in-between bit at Christmas and New Year. It's the in-between bit where you lose track of days, and we're certainly losing track of days. So again, once again, I know it's you're probably like the rest of us. You're just enjoying time with your family and your friends, and out maybe back doing a bit of more shopping and stuff. But we do appreciate everything that you've done for us. Keep the likes coming, keep the shares coming, keep the subscriptions coming, keep the nice comments coming, and all your lovely recipes. Keep all of them coming if you can. It's really appreciated. So we'll catch you guys very, very soon, and enjoy the rest of your time off.
See you later, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.